And so what I found started happening was I was getting around people who were just in love with Jesus. And I believe he was guiding me to those relationships. I met Ray Lynn, met Hell through that because Diana engaged Ray Lynn as a coach to talk about how does she run her business in a biblical way. And I happened to be at the gala for BLA. I didn't know anything about it. I picked up Joe's book, and I didn't know Joe at the time, Experiencing God at Work. And I was digesting everything that was about how do I love the Lord and what this walk all about, trying to understand it. And then, again, by God just moves like this, came a study, Experiencing God at Work. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go to that study. That's where Joe and I met.
Yeah, we had, so actually you were, I think, at the very first Kingdom Connection breakfast that we ever had.
Yeah.
The very, we launched this 2 years ago. Buzz was our first guinea pig in this whole experiment, and that's, I think, the first time I met you face to face, and I knew, of course, Ray Lane knew Larry and Diana pretty well, and so Larry comes into this study, and he's in there actually with his admin assistant, and so they're both, Shelley Weaver, so they're both in the study together. We had other people from USA in the group, and so we started going through this study together, Experiencing God at Work, and there's one of the chapters in the book at the end. It paints the picture, me having a real estate background, it paints the picture of a title policy on your house. And when you buy a house, when you own it outright, you get a deed to it. It becomes yours. Until that point in time, it's not yours. So you own it. You have all the rights and privileges and all the responsibilities of living in that home. Well, the idea there for us is that, have we done that in our work? Have we really deeded over our work? We may have had a conversion experience with Christ, but have we taken that area of our life that we spend so much time with, and have we turned the reins over? Have we now do we have all the privileges as well as all the responsibilities of owning that? And are we bringing Christ into our workplace in that manner? So we do this lesson, and those that want to can sign at the end of it a contract that basically says, I deed everything over. And so, Larry, you got to that, and so what was that like for you when you did that?
Yeah, as Joe mentioned, when I'm at Acture Tree, and I turned my life to the Lord, and in that relationship with Him as my Father, it was more about just start trusting me and don't worry about tomorrow. But come, I guess it was almost 6 years later, and I'm still digesting things. As a business person all my life, that contract really made things real. Because the four corners of the contract, Diana's in real estate, four corners of the contract. So I signed that in September of 2016. So I guess it was about five years after my retreat. And Diana witnesses it. And the expectations then, I think, changed. And when I mean expectations between my relationship with my Father in heaven. Because it's interesting, our company, Diana and I's company that is, we call it M6 1-34 company. And that's for Matthew chapter 6, 1-34. There's a lot of wisdom in there that guides us in our company, this company that we have the Killings. But what had touched me during the retreat was verse 34. Do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And actually, it seemed like that was the only sentence I saw. But after I signed the contract, it was like revelation. The Lord said, hey, you got to read now verse 33. I was like, well, what do you mean? I don't know what. And I read it, and verse 33 says, first seek the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all things will be given you besides. I was like, yeah, now I see. It's a contract. It's a deal. I got to seek you, and you'll be able. Then I don't worry about tomorrow. And I think because I take it as He was expecting me to mature, so now there are a little higher expectations. Not that I have to earn it because I can't, but just do we understand each other in this relationship? And so that's what really changed after the contract. And I just want to share this one thing, Joe, because then I start thinking over the last probably year and a half is, but what's my motivation? And I think as us, as business people, that's on our mind. At least it's on my mind. What's my motivation? Why do I actually love my Father in heaven? And I'm thinking of it as his child. Is it actually because I'm doing it because I love him? Or is it because I'm selfish and I want something? It's like your kid that says, hey, Daddy, see, I clean my room. And it's really because they want you to take them to a movie after. Or do they just do it just because they love you? And I'll tell you what I grappled in my head was so much of that, yeah, but what's my motivation? Or am I actually just still in the world as a businessman trying to cut a deal? I signed a contract, negotiate, cut a deal with you. If I do this, will you give me this, right? If I clean my room, will you do this? And I have to tell you that it was really troubling to me. And I have to share this because it came some revelation to me, and it's in Paul's letter to Philippians. And he's in a discussion with the disciples because they're asking the same question. What are your motives? And those that are proclaiming Christ, what are their motives? And are they true or not? And I almost need readers, but it says, of course, and this is Philippians chapter 1, it's verse 15. It says, of course, some preach Christ from envy and rivalry, others from goodwill. The latter act out of love, aware that I'm here for the defense of your gospel. The former proclaim Christ out of selfish ambition, not from pure motives, thinking that they will cause me trouble in his imprisonment. But here's what he says, which was just freeing up for me. He says, what difference does it make? And so the revelation I got from my father as I was asking, he said, son, I don't care. What difference does it make? As long as in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is being proclaimed. And in that I rejoice. And so what freaked me up to just really start to go after it was, hey, who cares what your motivation is? Just keep loving him, just keep proclaiming him, just keep seeking him. Because in that verse 33, it doesn't say find me. It just says seek me. And so what has really been important in my understanding living the contract is not getting so hung up on what's my motivation. Because quite frankly, the devil wants me coming into this meeting saying, well, Larry, what you really want to do is pass out Kilman's business cards and get people to come have ice cream. That's your motivation, is selfish, and it's not true. And my father says, I don't care. Just keep loving me.
Yeah, so we went, this was like in September. 4 months later, Larry's getting ready to go on vacation. He's working USA, high-level position, well compensated. And on a Friday, before he's going on vacation for the next week, he gets notified at USA and what happened in that meeting.
Yeah, it was interesting. And it was, I had been at USA because, as Diana says, I haven't come to Jesus free. I'm praying all the time. I'm in big meetings reading Psalm 91, the soldier's prayer, because it's USA, right? We're going to
Soldiers.
soldiers. And the HR is telling me, hey, tone it down a little. Because I had made it again, right? I had 2,000 people working for me. By the world's definition, I was back. I was like, all right, I'm back. And I started feeling that way, actually. And then what happened is, just again, unpredictability out of nowhere. I come into the office on Friday, and the boss says, well, we had changed the strategy. I was brought to USA to build out the local experience, local financial centers, local wealth management, all the things I had done at Bank of America. Come do it for USA. Well, the strategy changed. And we were going to now, what we built up for this local business was going to be closed down. I had spent the whole year actually shutting it all down. but there was a notion I would stay on as an executive consultant. Well, I think cooler heads prevailed at USA and realized they're paying me a lot of money for something they don't want to do anymore. And so Joe said I came in on a Friday, the day before I'm going on vacation. Hey, do you have a couple minutes? Sure. So, don't come back after vacation.
Have a nice long vacation.
Don't come back.
Don't spend too much money now.
I was like, oh man. But what was so different, when that happened to me at Bank of America during the financial crisis, I was like, now I can work my way out of this. Here's the strategy, here's the game plan. I got this thing. And, you know, God kept teaching me when I showed up in San Antonio, hey, just surrender to me. Let be with me. And it was so interesting because after that at USA, I was like, okay, God's got this thing for me. Surrender to Him. It's going to be okay, you know. And my attitude was just entirely different that time around.
Yeah, it was, the next week in the group, we all still met while he was enjoying his prolonged vacation. And so people were coming in saying, how's Larry? How's Larry doing? Because they had heard, they knew that he had been let go from his job. And so the week after that, Larry comes just bounding in the study group. I mean, he was just full of joy and sense of purpose. And it's like, wow, you know, what's happened to this guy, you know? And he says, I signed that contract with Jesus. You know, I mean, he's got the future in his hands, and I don't have to fret about it.
Yeah.
And so to see him go through that, and I don't want to take away, there are some of us who have been through hard experiences, and they are hard, and they are worth crying over or grieving or whatever it is. In this case, God brought Larry through a different pathway, and it was very redemptive from his previous experience. And so we rejoice with him in that. And it's taken him on a journey that was unpredictable. I mean, he had been kind of toying around with some ideas about some other things, and that's what will lead up to what he's doing now in terms of what God opened up for him. And you see, he's not got a USA shirt, he's got a Kilwins. I didn't know anything about what Kilwins was, so Larry had started working with this idea of opening a Kilwins. So tell them about what Kilwins, a little bit of their history. And
yeah, thank you, Joe. Well, Kilwins is a chocolate ice cream and chocolate fudge and ice cream shop. We're going to open up the Alamo Plaza, and I will give you guys business cards. I hope you do come and have it because I think you'll enjoy it. But I had, it's interesting the way God works because Kilwins actually was on my heart when I came to San Antonio. I had been applying to Kilwins to come to Texas since 2011, really like after my retreat. And I had told Diana, I said, you know, if and when I'm no longer in corporate America, I think I want to do this Kilwins. I want to try to get it down here. And part of that is I had experience it with my daughters, all growing up in the Carolinas, and it's about creating enjoyment, making people happy. And I thought it was the right kind of environment to celebrate life and have fun. And in the contract and thinking about what will we do with the business, I thought it was the right environment to bring together faith and work and community and try to make that contract real. And being a small business owner, be able to have the ability to do that the way we wanted to. And we had been pursuing it. They kept saying, no, we're not ready to come to Texas. And by God's just beautiful design, I signed that contract in September 2016. At the same time, I was shutting down everything at USA that I had done for 5 years. And in February, Kilwins called me. After we signed it, Kilwins called me and said, hey, we're now coming to Texas. If you're interested, come up and visit us. I'm like, that's right. It's going, you know. So we go up there, and they give us the right, Diane and I, to do San Antonio, particularly downtown. And then, but there's a person in front of us, actually. It's a guy from New Orleans, Nick and Molly Pasternak. And it's so interesting how God works because I mentored with some folks to decide on Killings. And Nick and Molly say they give life-giving skills. They love Jesus. They tell me their Killings, which they have in New Orleans, they have like 5 of them. They say they're planting churches in the communities, but they're disguising it as a chocolate store. I'm like, but how can this be? And I said, man, that's what I want to do. And it turns out Nick is in front of me at San Antonio. He's first in line at San Antonio. I tell Don, I said, well, that's it. I'm going to get that chance. And sure enough, April, the day I lost the job at the USA, same exact day, Gilman's calls me and says, Nick's decided to focus on San Antonio, on New Orleans, and so you now are first in line in San Antonio. The very same day. And this is where unpredictability and trying my head to say, if I would just surrender to him, he's got this plan from years ago. Just let it go. And so then the same notion as we move on and then we can't get a space, right? So real estate to get a shop downtown is like, it doesn't exist anywhere. So I tell Don, I said, well, it could be until February of 2021 when they open up Hemisphere, maybe we'll get a shop. So what am I going to do? So I joined Don's real estate company. I get all licensed up on real estate. I work with Ray Lynn, Trinidad. I'm like, please someone buy a house. I gotta make some money. I'm calling, and Don is like, she knows I'm miserable. Even though it's my background, wealth management, finance, all that. And so I'm sitting in the downtown one day, and Kilwins calls and says, we got your spot. I said, what do you mean? They say, well, it's right at the Alamo Plaza, right by the 5 of Time. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because everything there is under long-term leases. They're either too big, too small, the project's going on. There's only maybe one space that you could put at Kilwins at the Alamo. And they say, yeah, we were going, it was a Subway. They go, yeah, we went in the Subway. The young kid making the sandwiches said they don't think they're going to sign their lease to renew. I'm like, what? We went to the owner, Chris Jones, we got that space. It never came on the market. And I said, that's a God thing. I give them all glory.
And this is the store right here.
This is it.
This is the store, and so I wish we had more time to tell you the things that have been happening. I've had the privilege of being involved with Larry. We have a group that meets once in a while called a Forge Group. It's part of VLE, and he has been in there with us, and he has been fleshing out how Christ can be involved in this work. It's been so great because here he was in this arena for so many years where he worked under someone else's leadership, which was good for him. But now he has a chance to lead in a different environment and put together a team and what they're going to be doing in this to help embolden faith, help people develop a passion for Christ, and help people to be able to develop skills that are going to impact them forever, and how to impact the community. And so, why don't you just tell briefly about a little bit of that?
Yeah, thanks. So first of all, the unpredictability just because you sign the contract doesn't change. As we live in the world, and so unpredictability here. I mean, I'm twice over my budget, twice as long getting it opened, and I told Joe, I said, well, my father really is taking me to a place where I'm out of time and money. Right? Like, please open the store just in time. But what I've been learning through that unpredictability is it is this seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, so all things will be given you besides. Then don't worry about tomorrow. What he's pounding on me as a man that has always been in control is you are not in control. And Diana keeps telling me, how many things does he have to put you through to help you understand you're not in control? So we surrender to him, but there are some things that we're doing because I think he does expect you to work at it. And what I mean by that is, he says, man makes his plan and God guides his steps. So I think he expects me, he's gifted me to be a planner, a worker in his image. So he expects me to make plans, but give him room to guide it for us. I think he expects me to be working the field. I love the notion of, come to me, all you who are weary and need rest, yoke yourself to me, learn from my way. He doesn't say in that passage, sit on the couch and stop working. He says, yoke yourself to me, be in the field doing it, but learn from me, from the fruits of the Spirit. So one thing I have says, I'm going to stay at it, but I'm just going to trust in him and let him try to guide me. What I think it means for us as business people, at least what I've done at Killen's, is be deliberate. One, plan it and say, this is my church. And I've told everybody who I've talked about joining the team, we're planning a church, we're disguising it as a chocolate store for everybody. What's that mean? For me, it means sign the contract. Share that with my team. For me, it means get the faith statement. And be deliberate. Make sure everybody that knows that's going to join our team is, we love Jesus. You don't have to. We do, and we're not going to be shy about it. Because sometimes in business, I think we say, because of corporate America, USA, etc., hey, it's okay. We love him, but tone it down a little. I'm not going to tone it down one bit. Because he owns the store, and I expect as owner of the store, he wants me to turn lives to him. That's our mission. To turn lives to God. To do that by creating enjoyment, making people happy. Live by our values. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Do your best and have fun. So get that faith statement. I think you have to proclaim, and we're going to tithe 10% of our profits to the community. And we make that clear to our team. We're going to let them look at all our financials. So if you're a 16-year-old scooper of ice cream, you're going to see our financials and know what we're doing and be a part of it. We got a chapel in that store. Down and we built out a chapel for people to pray and have quiet time. And then what are our ministries we're going to share with the team? We have three. We have three leaders, so we have three areas of focus. Encouraging people in their faith. We're going to start small. You have quiet time of prayer on your own. Caring for our distressed neighbors. How do we treat the homeless when they come into our store and ask for a cup of water? And then helping people realize their dreams. How do we create a path for them to live the life God's imagined for them and the dreams that he has on his heart for them, including scholarships and things of that nature. So I think you have to be really deliberate and say, God's our owner. This is what we think he wants. We're going to do it. Don't question your motives. Just keep seeking.
Yeah, so they're going to have, all the employees will have their own dream boards, from the 16-year-old on up, right? So they have their own dream boards of what they see their future to be like. And one story I want you to share, Larry, just because it has impacted us, is they're looking at decisions. Not everybody has to make decisions the same way, but tell them about the fudge, what they're going to do with the fudge in the store.
Yeah,
the 2 for 1 or 2 for, I guess, one.
Sure will, yeah. In running the business, Killen's, we do have prescribed ways in which we deliver the experience. Follow the recipe, follow the plan. We paid a lot to have the plan, so we're going to follow it to the letter. But there are decisions along the way that clearly are your decision. And so an example that Joe's talking about is we have an everyday offer at Killen's. Buy 2 slices of fudge, get 1 free. It's every day, all day, and fudge is the success of our business, actually, at Killen's. And you ask yourself the question, so which slice of fudge is free?
Because the slices are they just cut them and then they weigh them.
Hand cut, different cost to make them, with nuts, without nuts, so forth, right? So you're going to come buy 2 slices. One might be way out at being $9, $10, $8, and one is more costly to make than the other. So the store gets to decide, and I ask my team, well, if our God owns the store, and he's a God of abundance, and we live in abundance and joy, and we treat people the way you want to be treated, which slice would be free? Well, the answer is the most expensive one. there's 3 slices, we put them all on the cash register, $9, $10, $8. We tell the guest, the one that's for free is the $10 one. Because it creates opportunities then to say, well, who owns this store? Well, my Father in heaven owns this store. He's a God of abundance. Because when we start living in scarcity, then we say, well, the free one is the $8 one. And then all the employees whisper. I'm like, that's living in scarcity. That's where the devil wants you playing. Not trusting that it's all going to work. And so what we are trying to do is say, guys, if God owns our store, how do we in simple ways every day live these values for real?
Yeah, thanks for sharing. You have an opportunity now to talk with your groups, so you have a table host there. Answer
So
questions.
can I read something first real quick?
Sure.
I'm sorry, this is only going to take a second. I want to just leave you with this poem that it's a reading from Thomas Merton. It's influenced me. I've been reading it now for several years. It goes back to that, what's your motivation? My Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it went, nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think I'm following your will does not mean that I'm actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I hope I have that desire in all that I'm doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you'll lead me by the right road, although I may know nothing about it. Therefore, I'll trust you always, though I may seem to be lost in the shadow of death. I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone.